Hello, welcome to the Trews. I'm Russell. We're going to respond to some of the numerous comments you've said, except for the ones that are about voting, not voting, voting Labour, vote Conservative, all those voting-related things. For those, I refer you to previous episodes of the Trews where I've thoroughly answered those questions. First one, Chicolita 2. Hey Russell, one of my friends saw you around Vancouver in Canada. Maybe it's none of my business, but what you doing around our great country? I'm doing a film with Nicolas Cage. Have a look at this photo. There you go, there's my chair sitting next to his chair. Our chairs have got names. Scott Phillips, I don't know how I survived 4 days without a new Trews video. I know, it's hard, isn't it? But like, if you look at the news cycle, like one of the things about that election is you recognise, oh my God, it's going on forever. We could do Trews on human rights. We could do Trews on Michael Gove being the new Minister of Justice. It's like sarcastic appointments now, isn't it? Fletch Boy in the house. Guess what, Rusty? Nigel's back. What's that? Nigel Farage's back in charge now. He just resigned for 2 days. Doesn't matter, does it? He's just resigned from something that doesn't have any meaning now. What's more important is that mentality has been incorporated into the national psyche and is now part of mainstream politics. In a way, Nigel Farage was just like a sort of a extreme nationalist hen laying an egg of toxicity into the mind of the Conservative mainstream, and that's now hatched into Michael Gove, Justice Minister. Now there's a metaphor. Johnny Anonymous. Thousands marched in London on the weekend, yet the BBC only managed a 15-second clip with no narration or interviews. BBC declined to appear on Newswatch to defend themselves, yet when a dress is created, there appears either blue, gold or black to people. We get all-day coverage of graphs, countless interviews with public, etc. Where can protesters buy these dresses? As you know, Johnny Anonymous, there is no mileage for institutions that benefit from things being the way they are in reporting on the huge appetite for change, particularly now at this time where there has been an election where the Conservatives have been returned to Parliament with a majority. An argument you could make is, but how can people make a reasonable decision when fear-based media fills our heads with propaganda so that we're bewildered? Think about when you're frightened in your own life, you make crap decisions, don't you? Or when your head is full of desire, you make crap decisions. You can make those arguments all day long. Don't expect mainstream news, mainstream media, mainstream corporations, mainstream politics to do anything really other than maintain their interests. You may get incremental changes here and there when they become irresistible, but to expect more than that is ridiculous. I mean, in a way, instead of doing those marches, just go and occupy land, sort of set up alternative agriculture, alternative economies, alternative. You're going to get nothing from the mainstream. Michaela Santos. Oh, we need a vagina in the White House. Men had created too many wars. Time for peace. Hillary 2016. Well, the problem is when the last Clinton was in power, there are a few too many vaginas in the White House. But I do agree, broadly, that femininity ought be elevated to the top of power pyramids, as part of the structure of making more lateral power. So, I mean, fair enough. But I don't think it's going to make that much difference, mate. Dipshar 1984. Please, let's go back to more nomadic raw living, where fishermen fished to feed and eat and only took a small amount. This way of life worked for many generations. It's our arrogance when we look down at such people in this money-driven society. Very sad. I agree with you. Have a more direct relationship with our own nature and nature in general. Everything has become like a facsimile of reality. That's what I feel when I'm in an airport. I feel like, what is this experience designed to be neutered and anodyne? Products advertised, I don't understand what they are. There's something called Accenture advertised all over Heathrow. Don't know what it means. Accenture, powering your dynamic.
Accenture, high performance, delivered.
Adding dynamism to your power. Accenture. All right, I'll take 2, please. Like the everything, like outside the hotel window where I'm staying, there's an inaccessible garden with benches on it and plants. The benches can never be sat on because you can't access the garden because there's no door to get to the garden. It's a pretend garden. Everything in our reality, the experience of being alive, is becoming slowly stripped of truthful integration. That you can't just look into someone's eyes and go, hello, what's it like being you? Are you all right in there? Sir, you better stop looking at me and shouting at me in that intense way. I'll have a coffee. Inner flap. Sick. Venal. Someday a real rain will come and wash all this scum off the streets. Travis Bickle, the protagonist or antagonist anti-hero from the film Taxi Driver, made such a wish, in a way preempting the nihilistic terrorism that was to come decades later, sort of the idea of lone gunmen and lone cells, and that in our the enemy within, in our midst, are enemies who deplore us and our ways, our consumerist ways. But now none of it. Who are the people in Britain or Canada or America like, this works for me, this is working for me? When you have an ideology that's stripped of reality, when you have prime ministers and presidents blindly espousing meaningless stuff that has no connection to their hearts or their true feelings, who are the people that can connect to it? Who are the people that watch Obama or David Cameron or Stephen Harper and go, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this guy really speaks to me. These are strange times. Edmund Dantes. A complete reformation of the education system is at the heart of change. At present, it is set up to produce stagnant citizens rather than inspired individuals. We regress our children through a system developed by the Prussians, adopted by Nazi Germany, and now well established in the US and UK. Kindergarten was developed by the Prussians to produce obedient, loyal citizens that know their place and perform their role accordingly. Standardised learning has to go. Let's start teaching them some truths. Throughout this comments page, you get the idea of the kind of society people want. It's a kind of more natural, tribal, integrated society that doesn't neglect or reject or ignore our new technologies and communicative tools, but doesn't neglect and ignore our indigenous nature. Any baby born now and transported back 100 years, 200 years would adapt. We're not that different. We're the same from an evolutionary perspective. And like the way now that like people are realising is like, new report. Guess what? If you just ate organic natural food that didn't have pesticides on it, that was grown near where you're standing and grew at the time that you're eating it in, seasonal foods grown locally, you'll be much healthier. Oh, what you mean? We might as well have just left things how they were instead of creating a massive monoculture that was beneficial to transnational corporations. Yeah, that's it, yeah. If you just had left things as they were. Now, you can't go sort of swooping back in time like that little baby. You are going to have to accept that progress has happened and created many wonderful things through medicine and technology. But what we've allowed it to do is, because it was developed through capitalism, we've allowed it to detach us from the things that are essential to our nature. So we're living in a plastic time. We're living behind a veneer. So when people do something natural or real, it seems peculiar or odd. Sometimes I want to just roam in the woods and fuck a warthog just to feel reality on me. Sink my hands into the soil and feel the earth spread soil on my body. Give me something real. Give me something real. Oh, do you want sugar with that, sir? Would you like another latte? Give me reality. Give me truth. Give me true news. Subscribe here.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some trews. Let's have some trews.